Have you ever walked into a room and in that very moment, every gaze turned toward you, not because of what you said, but simply because you were there? That feeling is special, isn't it? It's as if the whole world paused for a second just to acknowledge your presence. But let's be honest, how many times in your life have you truly felt that way? How many times have you longed for someone to see your true worth, to really listen, to respect you, to recognize you as someone who deserves to be seen? If your answer is yes, you're not alone. In today's fast-paced world, so many of us struggle with the quiet pain of being undervalued, of feeling as though our efforts, thoughts, and contributions are constantly overlooked or dismissed. We move through crowds, we talk, we laugh, we work. Yet deep down, there's a part of our heart that silently hopes someone will finally see us, not just on the surface, not for our status or appearance, but for who we truly are inside. For the person who's trying their best every single day, for the one who simply wants to be loved and respected for their real value. And the moment we realize that we're not alone in that feeling, something profound happens. We begin to understand that the recognition we've been searching for out there actually starts from within. When we believe in our own worth, the world around us eventually mirrors it back. We exist, yes, but that doesn't mean we were meant to settle for mediocrity or surrender to fate. Today, right at this very moment, give yourself permission to begin again. A new start, a new journey. One filled with faith, purpose, and a burning determination that lives deep within your heart. The road ahead won't be easy. It will challenge you to confront your fears, to master your emotions, and most importantly, to understand the immense power of your inner strength. That's the very essence of Stoic philosophy wisdom passed down for thousands of years, teaching us not only how to stand firm through hardship, but how to see the world with calmness, depth, and unwavering clarity. This journey isn't about chasing the spotlight or applause. It's about training your mind, nurturing discipline, and building a strength that cannot be shaken. Because when you cultivate a centered soul and a clear mind, you don't just become stronger, you radiate a quiet confidence that naturally earns respect without ever needing to prove anything. In this video, we'll explore 10 timeless Stoic strategies, core principles tested through centuries, practiced by great philosophers to overcome adversity, find inner peace, and achieve true self-mastery. These principles won't just change how others see you, they'll transform how you see yourself, how you respond to challenges, how you face your fears, and how you rise after every fall. Think of this not as a lecture, but as an invitation to experience, to reflect, and to transform. Stay until the end of this video and prove to yourself that no matter how difficult the road ahead may be, as long as you keep moving forward, you'll realize that your greatest power was never out there in the world. It has always been within your own heart. Imagine walking into a room, saying just one sentence, taking one action, and people don't just notice you in that moment, but feel your presence, your energy, and the true value you carry. Because what we're aiming for today isn't just a fleeting moment of attention, it's about building a lasting presence, a kind of quiet influence that leaves an imprint wherever you go. So the question is your mind ready for this journey? If you are, write it in the comments below. I'm ready, because this marks the beginning of something real, a journey to rediscover the strongest, truest version of yourself. Strategy 1. Learn to take care of yourself first. Many people, y'all believe that caring for yourself is selfish, but the truth couldn't be more different. If you don't know how to love yourself, how can you genuinely love and uplift others? If you don't listen to your own body, heart, and mind, how can you have the energy to truly listen to anyone else? Self-care is not indulgence, it's responsibility. It's the foundation that allows you to grow stronger, stay grounded, and spread positive energy to everyone around you. When you learn how to recharge, how to pause when necessary, and how to let go of the things that drain you, you don't just become tougher, you also become more peaceful, more focused, and more alive than ever before. Remember this, you can't pour from an empty cup. The better you take care of yourself, the more you're able to give love, patience, empathy, and emotional strength. This isn't just a lifestyle tip, it's a fundamental principle for living a fulfilling, meaningful, and deeply satisfying life. Self-care isn't only about eating well or getting enough sleep. It's about learning to say no to what no longer aligns with you, letting go of relationships that drain you, and giving yourself the same respect you've always hoped others would give you. And when you truly do that, you'll realize something profound. You no longer need to try so hard to be liked or validated by others. Because when you love yourself deeply enough, you naturally become a light one that others are drawn to. To live a truly meaningful life, you must begin by understanding yourself, not through what others say about you, but from within, from your emotions, your desires, and your deepest inner needs. Give yourself moments of silence to listen inwardly. When you know what makes you happy, what hurts you, and what makes you feel like you, that's when the journey of self-awareness truly begins. Once you understand yourself clearly, you'll know how to nurture, grow, and heal in ways no one else ever could for you. Self-care isn't just about tending to the body, it's an art of living. It's learning how to treat yourself with love, respect, and kindness. Start small. Eat healthy foods, not to chase a certain body image, but to honor your body as a sacred temple. Exercise regularly, not out of competition, but to feel the energy flowing through every breath. Get enough sleep so your body can regenerate and your mind can rest ready to embrace a new day. When you treat your body with kindness, your energy and presence naturally shift. You begin to radiate a quiet confidence, a kind of beauty that doesn't come from appearance, but from inner peace and self-assurance. People are drawn to that energy because they can feel the calm, positive vibration that flows from within you. But self-care doesn't end with the body. Your soul needs nourishment too. If your body needs food, your spirit needs peace. If your body needs rest, your heart needs connection with nature, with yourself, and with the things that make life meaningful. Feed your soul every day. Read something inspiring. Sit in silence and meditate. Write down your thoughts and feelings, or simply spend an afternoon doing something you love. That's not wasting time, it's investing in your inner world. When your soul is nourished, you become more confident, peaceful, and creative. True beauty doesn't come from makeup or designer clothes, it shines from within, through serene eyes and a genuine smile. That inner peace creates an irresistible magnetism, something money or fame can never buy. And remember this above all, self-care is a lifelong journey, because every day you change your heart, your emotions, your circumstances. What matters most is that you always return to yourself and ask, am I living in alignment with my true values? Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher and emperor, once said, Marcus Aurelius, your life is what your thoughts make it. So every time you invest your time, energy, and love into yourself, you're not just improving your own life, you're becoming a living source of inspiration for everyone around you. You no longer need to beg for love, attention, or approval. Because when you truly honor and love who you are, others will naturally recognize your worth and respect you from the depths of their hearts. That is the deepest, most powerful strategy for personal growth. Know yourself, love yourself, and keep becoming a better version of you every single day. Strategy #2. Cultivating calmness and inner strength. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers in history, once said, calmness in leader was raison in Seneca, calmness in Seneca. The best remedy for anger is delay. Behind that seemingly simple advice lies an immense power, the power of calmness, emotional mastery, and mental control. In today's world, where everything moves at lightning speed and negative emotions can spread in seconds through a message, a look, or a careless word, staying calm has become an art form and a rare kind of superpower. Think about the situations you face every day. A hectic workday. You're late for an important meeting. As you walk in, you catch a cold stare or a sharp tone from a colleague. What's your first instinct? Maybe to defend yourself, to feel irritated, or to snap back immediately. But pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. In those few seconds of silence when you choose to breathe instead of react, you've already changed everything. That small pause is the true strength of someone with an unshakable inner world. Calmness is not weakness. It's the sign of someone who controls themselves rather than being controlled by emotion. Calm people don't let others dictate their mood. They don't allow the outside world to disturb their inner stability. Seneca understood that every impulsive reaction costs us a bit of our freedom. When we respond too quickly, we hand over control of our mind to someone else. But when we delay, when we take that single step back, we reclaim our power, and that is the first step toward wisdom. In modern life, cultivating calmness not only reduces stress, but also makes you more trustworthy, composed, and respected. People sense steadiness in you, an energy that makes them feel safe just by being near you. You can practice this every day with small steps. When someone says something that annoys you, pause, take a deep breath, and count to 3 before you respond. When faced with an unexpected setback, ask yourself, when you feel the urge to react impulsively, remind yourself, I can choose peace over tension. In that brief moment of stillness, you can turn anger into clarity, conflict into growth. Remember, calmness isn't built overnight. It's developed through daily practice, through every challenge you face. And each time you choose calm over chaos, your inner strength grows. True power doesn't belong to the one who shouts the loudest in the room, but to the one who can remain silent when everything around them is falling apart. That is the essence of quiet strength, the kind of power Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and other great Stoic thinkers devoted their lives to teaching. When you master that serenity, you'll notice how the world softens around you. The things that once made you angry will become simple lessons. The people who once hurt you will become mirrors, helping you see yourself more clearly. And then you'll realize something profound. Calmness isn't just a skill, it's a form of freedom. Freedom from negative emotions, freedom from impulsive reactions, freedom to live life on your own terms. The ability to remain composed in chaos is not just emotional intelligence, it's a rare kind of spiritual strength. While many are swept away by the emotions of the crowd, fear, worry, anger, those who stay centered become like a lighthouse in a storm, bringing peace to themselves and to everyone around them. In the Bible, there's a simple yet powerful line, be still and know that I am God. The phrase be still isn't only about physical silence. It's about stillness of the mind. It's a sacred pause, a moment when you stop the noise, release the turbulence, and listen to your inner voice. Silence is not weakness. It is strength. The strength of someone who knows they don't need to argue to prove their worth, nor shout to be heard. When you embrace stillness, you open a new space within your mind, a space for reflection, for clarity, for seeing life as it truly is. It's in that silence that you learn to observe without judging, understand without possessing, and forgive without needing an apology. It is a state of spiritual freedom, a place where the mind and soul move in harmony, untouched by the push and pull of emotions or the noise of other people's opinions. Cultivating calmness and self-control doesn't just help you become a better version of yourself, it connects you to the deepest layers of your spiritual being. It's in those quiet moments that you begin to feel the presence of something sacred, not somewhere distant, but right here, in every breath, in every heartbeat, in every moment of inner stillness. Those who remain calm in the face of adversity aren't just strong, they are profound. They understand that nothing external can truly shake a soul that has learned to stand firm in silence. When you can stay centered in the middle of the storm, you're not only practicing a philosophy that has existed for thousands of years, you're radiating an energy that makes people naturally trust, respect, and admire you. People will sense the steadiness in you as if you are a safe harbor in a world full of chaos. And the most beautiful thing is, peace is contagious. When you maintain calmness, you inspire others to do the same. Just as a still lake reflects the entire sky, A peaceful soul reflects the light of wisdom and compassion. So treat every stressful moment in life as a chance to practice serenity. Take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and remind yourself, only peace remains. Finally, if you're facing challenges in your life right now, share your story in the comments below. What situations test your patience the most, and how have you learned to overcome them? Let your words become a source of encouragement for others, because sometimes a single honest story can spread peace to thousands of hearts. The value of time. In a world that never stops moving, where everyone is chasing plans, goals, and responsibilities, we often forget one of the most precious things we own: time. Time is an invisible form of wealth. You can't see it, touch it, or lock it away in a vault. And yet, everything in life is paid for with time. Once it's gone, no power, no amount of money can bring it back. The irony is, most people live as if they have an endless supply of it. They waste hours on distractions, delays, and things that bring no real meaning or growth. But what about you? What if, starting today, you began to treat your time as something sacred? You'd soon realize that every action, every choice, every decision suddenly carries more meaning, more weight than ever before. When you value each moment, you naturally become more focused, disciplined, and intentional. And that energy attracts respect and admiration from others. People will sense your direction, your purpose, and they'll want to learn from you, follow you, and be inspired by your clarity. Imagine one day becoming the true master of your time, no longer rushing, no longer trapped in the frantic rhythm of the world, but instead setting your own pace. You work with focus, rest with intention, and spend time on what truly matters. When that happens, you'll realize that time isn't just measured in minutes or hours. It's the measure of your life itself, the reflection of who you are. Picture yourself standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls. Everything around you feels chaotic, yet you remain still. You don't let the storm control you. You stand strong, grounded. That is the image of someone who has mastered both time and emotion. Life is much like that storm. You can't control the wind, and you can't command the rain to stop, but you can control how you respond. And in that response, others will see your true strength, your confidence, and your grace. A person who can manage their time and remain calm in chaos is the kind of person the world stops to admire. Strategy #3. Recognize the true value of time. This isn't just advice, it's a life principle. Every passing moment is an opportunity, and opportunities only reveal themselves to those who know how to see them. Time never betrays those who truly respect it. And when you've practiced that long enough, you'll realize that you're not just managing time, you're managing your entire life. Now, I want you to pause for a few seconds and ask yourself, how am I really using my time? Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you do each day to make sure you're not wasting the precious minutes you've been given? Because who knows, your story might be the very inspiration that helps someone else learn to live slower, deeper, and more meaningfully. Imagine this. You're in the position of a leader. One morning, as you step into your office, you're met with a flood of messages and emails. False rumors about your company are spreading like wildfire. The atmosphere in the team grows heavy. People's eyes are filled with worry, and every whispered conversation carries fear. A situation like this could easily send anyone into panic, because just one wrong reaction could cause everything to collapse like a line of dominoes. But instead of reacting out of fear, this leader remains remarkably calm. He doesn't rush to respond, doesn't look for someone to blame, and doesn't try to defend himself hastily. Instead, he gathers the entire team for a meeting. As everyone waits anxiously, he walks in with a soft smile, his voice steady and deep. "We will speak with the truth." He presents the facts clearly, explains what's actually happening, debunks the false rumors, and then lays out a concrete action plan. There's no defensiveness, no anger, only calmness, confidence, and transparency. And amazingly, that energy spreads instantly. The tension in the room begins to ease. Anxious eyes turn into looks of trust. And in that moment, he's not just a leader, he's the emotional anchor of the entire organization. So what allowed him to do that? Calmness. A quality that seems simple, but is one of the most powerful weapons of true maturity. To develop calmness, you must start with three foundational principles. 1. Learn to pause before reacting. When faced with something unexpected, instead of reacting immediately, pause for a few seconds. That brief moment of stillness gives your mind time to reset. It allows you to see things clearly, separate emotion from reason, and respond with intention rather than instinct. Smart people aren't those who speak the fastest, they're the ones who know when to stay silent. 2. Practice mindfulness. Nurture the roots of inner peace. Meditation, deep breathing, or simply sitting quietly for 5 minutes each day to observe your emotions. These small habits build a powerful foundation of emotional self-control. Because only when you master your inner world can you remain calm amid the chaos of the outer one. Mindfulness doesn't make you cold or detached. It helps you respond with awareness, not impulse. 3. Focus on what you can control. One of the biggest sources of stress is trying to control things beyond your reach. You can't stop others from talking. You can't silence rumors. You can't make everything go your way. But you can always control your own reactions. Remember, your emotions belong to you. No one else has the right to control them unless you let them. When you focus your attention on the circle of control, you'll notice your anxiety start to fade and calmness will begin to take root in your mind. In the end, calmness is not just a state of mind, it's a form of inner strength, a true mark of emotional intelligence and maturity. The person who can stay centered in the middle of the storm is the one the whole world stops to listen to. And if you're on the journey of learning to stay calm, leave a comment below. I'm learning to stay peaceful in the storm. Because that's not just a statement, it's a personal commitment that from today onward, you choose peace over reaction, wisdom over fear, and to become a source of quiet strength in a world that never stops moving. Strategy #4. Shift your perspective, unlock the power within. In life, no one can escape difficult moments, those times when everything seems to fall apart, when plans fail, or when others hurt you. But truly mature people don't see those moments as disasters. They see them as tests of fate, opportunities to prove their strength, build resilience, and grow wiser. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That single shift in question changes everything. Because every challenge comes not to break you, but to shape your spirit to make it sharper, stronger, and more grounded. Stoics don't run from hardship. They welcome it with calm acceptance. They understand that no challenge is meaningless. Every experience, good or bad, carries a quiet lesson about life itself. Strategy #5. Learn from every experience. Turn failure into wisdom. After every tense or difficult situation, take a moment to look inward and ask yourself, how did I react? What emotions did I feel in that moment? If I could do it again, would I choose differently? That moment of honest reflection is the key that unlocks your inner wisdom. It helps you avoid repeating the same mistakes, and it strengthens your ability to stay calm and clear-minded the next time life tests you. Instead of blaming yourself for imperfect reactions, be grateful for your past because every stumble, every misstep has shaped you into a stronger version of yourself. Each lesson learned is a building block for wisdom and inner peace. The Stoic mindset doesn't teach you to suppress emotions. It teaches you to master them with intelligence and grace. You don't need to become cold or detached from the world. You only need to learn how to respond consciously rather than react instinctively. That is the difference between the reaction of the immature and that of the truly mature. When you can remain calm in the middle of the storm, people will not only respect you for your composure, they'll feel safe and grounded in your presence. Because calmness is the language of wisdom, and the calm person is always the most influential one in the room. Strategy #6. Practice the art of listening, the bridge between hearts. Have you ever truly listened to someone? Not listening just to reply, but listening to understand. Imagine you're in a conversation with a close friend. They're opening up about their worries, their stress, or their pain, things they've never told anyone else. And instead of checking your phone or rushing to give advice, you simply sit there silent, present, and fully attentive. In that quiet space, you've already given them something powerful, a safe place to simply be. Because sometimes what people need most isn't a solution, it's someone who genuinely wants to understand. Listening is more than an act, it's an expression of compassion and emotional maturity. It shows that you have the patience to set aside your ego and the calmness to feel another person's emotions without judgment. When you learn to cultivate reflection, stillness, and deep listening, you don't just improve your relationships with others, you deepen your connection with your own soul. That's the essence of a mindful life. The life of someone who understands that everything happens for a reason, and that only those who observe, listen, and learn from life truly hold the power of inner peace. If this message resonates with you, comment below. I choose calmness and growth through every experience. Because that's not just a statement, it's a commitment to your own journey of growth, a long but deeply rewarding path toward becoming the strongest and wisest version of yourself. Strategy #7. The art of deep listening, when silence speaks. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone truly listened to you? No interruptions, no rushed reactions, no glancing at their phone, just quiet presence, eyes meeting yours, giving you the space to pour your heart out. In that moment, you feel something rare in today's noisy world. You feel understood. Not because the other person had the perfect response, but because they were fully present with you. When you become that kind of listener, you're not just hearing with your ears, you're listening with your heart and your empathy. The questions you ask afterward, gentle, thoughtful, show that you understand the depth behind their words. And in that space of understanding, people feel safe, trusted, and deeply connected. In that moment, you're no longer just a listener. You become a safe harbor for someone's soul. A place without judgment or noise, only stillness, compassion, and acceptance. Active listening is more than a skill, it's the reflection of a free, peaceful spirit. Many people believe listening simply means staying quiet while someone else talks. But through the lens of Stoic philosophy, listening is an art of living. It's the ability to be fully present in the moment and to see every conversation as an opportunity to learn not just about others, but about yourself. Because when you truly listen, you are practicing humility. You acknowledge that you don't always have the answers, and that every person, no matter how ordinary they seem, has something to teach you. Those who know how to listen have open hearts, and open hearts are the foundation of wisdom and compassion. How to cultivate the art of deep listening. 1. Master your own emotions first. Before stepping into any conversation, remind yourself, I'm here to understand, not to argue. When you silence the urge to react, you begin to hear not just what the other person is saying, but what they truly mean. 2. Be fully present. Put the phone down. Stop multitasking. Let your full attention rest on the person in front of you. Listen not just with your ears, but with your eyes, your posture, and your intuition. Sometimes what people don't say speaks louder than 1,000 words. 3. Observe body language and emotion. A lowered gaze, a heavy sigh, a forced smile, these are the second languages of emotion. When you notice them, you're not just understanding the story, you're connecting to the soul behind it. 4. Embrace silence. Many fear silence in conversations, but silence is the space where emotions breathe. When you resist the urge to fill the gap, you give others time to think, to feel, and sometimes to reveal the deepest truths they didn't even know they were holding. Deep listening doesn't just strengthen relationships, it strengthens your mind. It trains you to be still, understanding, and compassionate. It makes you the kind of person others feel drawn to because within you, they sense the peace they've been searching for. That is the Stoic spirit in communication, knowing when to be silent, seeking to understand before being understood, and responding with wisdom rather than instinct. If you're on the journey of learning to listen more deeply, comment below, "I choose to listen with my heart." Because that's more than a sentence, it's a commitment from a soul that's growing, learning to understand the world through stillness and kindness. Strategy has height. Listen and learn. The lifelong journey of wisdom and enlightenment. Thousands of years ago, great Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca left behind timeless lessons. They didn't just teach how to live well, they taught the art of listening, both to others and to oneself. To them, listening wasn't just receiving words. It was a state of conscious awareness where the mind and heart move in harmony and where we open ourselves to the subtle lessons hidden in every conversation and experience. Take a moment to ask yourself, am I truly a good listener? Have you ever sat with someone as they opened their heart and simply listened without judgment, without interrupting, just being fully present with them? If you have, you've felt the healing power of true listening, because sometimes people don't need advice. They just need a quiet heart that understands. Share in the comments a moment when you truly listened to someone and felt the quiet magic of connection. Seneca's lesson on lifelong learning. The Roman philosopher Seneca once said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." That's not just advice, it's a compass for the soul's journey toward growth and wisdom. On the path to self-discipline, wisdom, and compassion, continuous learning is the breath of life. The more we open ourselves to learning, the more we realize that each day carries a new lesson, not just about the world, but about our inner selves. True Stoics understand, knowledge is not a destination, it's a flow. Like a river endlessly moving toward the sea, the wise never stop growing. When we stop learning, our minds begin to stiffen. When we stop listening, we lose our sensitivity to life. But when we choose to learn even one small thing each day, we plant seeds of freedom, wisdom, and gratitude. Learn not just to know, but to become. Learning isn't confined to books, classrooms, or grand philosophies. It happens in conversations, mistakes, and failures. Every time you pause to reflect, every time you look inward instead of blaming others, you are learning, evolving, and expanding your perspective. And here's the paradox. The wiser a person becomes, the more humble they are. They understand that true wisdom doesn't come from talking, it comes from understanding and awareness found in silence. When you commit to lifelong learning, you don't just expand your knowledge, you nurture a deeper, kinder soul. People will feel it in the calmness of your gaze, in the steadiness of your words, and in the respect that naturally radiates from you. That quiet inner growth earns trust and admiration, not because you're better than others, but because you are humble, evolving, and always learning. Conclusion. Learn to live, not live to learn. Marcus Aurelius once wrote in Meditations, "No one loses more time than the man who thinks he has plenty." Life is far too short to stay trapped in what we already know. Live like an eternal student, a soul endlessly curious, open to growth, and willing to evolve a little more each day. Because knowledge only becomes meaningful when it transforms into living wisdom, into compassion, resilience, and a deeper understanding of humanity. If you're also walking the path of self-learning, self-awareness, and self-growth, leave a comment below. I choose to learn something new every day. Sometimes, the smallest lessons are the ones that spark the greatest transformation within our souls. Strategy #9. The value of knowledge, education, and the journey of becoming a higher version of yourself. In the journey of being human, knowledge does more than make us informed. It shapes our character, influences how we act, and determines how we face life's challenges. Learning isn't just about knowing more, it's about living better, understanding deeper, and harmonizing with ourselves, nature, and society. When we learn to adjust our behavior, we are aligning ourselves with the natural rhythm of the universe rather than resisting it. And through that process, we begin to shine not because of fame or power, but because of the authentic light of our soul. Education, the sacred duty of awakened souls. Education, in the spirit of the Stoic philosophers, is not merely the transfer of information. It's an art form, a spiritual journey, where both teacher and student evolve together. Every time we share what we know, whether it's a personal story, a lesson learned from failure, or a simple insight, we perform something sacred, planting the seeds of wisdom and kindness in another heart. Every story we tell, every experience we pass on, carries the mark of understanding, courage, and growth. And the beautiful paradox is in helping others learn, we too educate ourselves. Learning not to accumulate, but to transform. Lifelong learning is not about stuffing the mind with facts. It's about shaping character, refining virtue, and expanding perspective. Along the way, we learn patience when things don't go as planned, gratitude when we recognize the value of each moment, and acceptance when we face loss or adversity. A Stoic does not run from hardship. They face it with reason, calm, and faith that every challenge hides a lesson for growth. Where others see tragedy, they see wisdom. Where others fear loss, they see awakening. And that's what makes them steady, respected, and truly influential. Inspiring through knowledge, touching the hearts of others. A person of true value isn't the one with the most power, but the one who helps others become better simply by being around them. When you share your knowledge, experiences, and compassion, you illuminate the path for others to walk. And here's the wonder: the more you give, the more valuable you become. Every time you help someone see deeper into themselves, you quietly build a legacy of kindness, wisdom, and positive influence. No one is remembered for being the richest or strongest forever. Real respect comes from making others feel safe, understood, and guided. True value, not in display, but in illumination. To be valuable in the eyes of others doesn't mean proving you're right. It means sharing what's right with humility and sincerity. Like a candle that never loses its flame when lighting others, your wisdom grows the more you share it. The truly noble soul knows this truth. Knowledge is not meant to be kept, it's meant to be passed on. When you open your heart, when you dare to guide, to teach, to inspire, you nurture love and respect around you, not through strength, but through genuineness, not through power, but through understanding and compassion. The path of knowledge, long but worth every step. This journey isn't quick, nor is it easy. It demands persistence to keep learning, courage to face failure, and faith that you can always become a little better than yesterday. But in that process, as you fall and rise, as you share and reflect, you become the higher, wiser, more graceful version of yourself. If you too are on this path of learning, sharing, and inspiring, comment below, "I choose to learn and share every day." Because you, through your knowledge, kindness, and steady heart, are helping make this world brighter, calmer, and more humane. Strategy Hajon Zero. Learn to grow and live true to yourself. When we dedicate time to learning, exploring, and growing, we don't just gain more knowledge, we expand the boundaries of our soul, deepen our awareness, and build a stronger foundation for a meaningful life. Knowledge can take us far, but inner growth is what makes us truly shine. Before we move forward on this journey, I want to pause to thank you. Thank you for your patience, for listening, and for walking with me through the first half of this video. But this isn't the end. The journey toward a strong and liberated spirit is still long, and the next part may very well be the missing piece you've been searching for. If these messages have resonated with you, take a second to like, share, and help spread this positive energy to more people. Because when we learn together and grow together, we're helping to build a stronger, kinder, and more inspired community. Next step: live authentically. Be true to yourself. The next principle we'll explore today is authenticity. living true, living right, and living fully as your genuine self. Authenticity isn't just a good trait, it's the foundation of every relationship, every success, and every sense of peace within. Nothing drains your spirit more than constantly pretending to be someone you're not. Only when you dare to be yourself do you truly become free. Honesty, the strongest asset of a human being. Did you know that honesty with yourself is one of the most valuable assets you'll ever possess? As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, if you want to be a writer, write. If you want to be a good person, live like one. That teaching isn't just about taking action, it's a reminder to live in alignment with your true nature. Don't act a certain way just to be loved. Live truthfully so that your love and respect are earned naturally. Authenticity not only builds trust with others, but also brings confidence, comfort, and strength to your own spirit. When you live in alignment with who you are, your energy becomes clear, powerful, and naturally magnetic, drawing toward you those who resonate at the same frequency. Patrick's story, when authenticity ignites creativity. Let me tell you about Patrick, a young graphic designer. In the early years of his career, Patrick focused on creating what the market wanted, not what he truly loved. He chased trends, tried to please clients, and slowly lost sight of the reason he started drawing in the first place. Success came, but it felt hollow. Despite the recognition and the money, Patrick felt disconnected from himself. Creativity turned into obligation, and passion faded into pressure. Then one day, he stopped. He asked himself, what truly makes me happy when I work? Who am I when I'm not trying to please anyone else? He began dedicating time to personal projects, ones that reflected his unique style and genuine emotions. He drew what he believed in, designed what felt true, not what the market demanded. The result of living authentically? Freedom and influence. When Patrick started creating from authenticity, something amazing happened. People began to see him, the real him, through his art. Brands sought him out not just for his skills, but for his signature voice, that unmistakable Patrick essence no one else could copy. He no longer had to chase the market began to chase him. From someone once afraid of rejection, Patrick became a symbol of courage and genuine creativity. And that was the greatest reward, not fame or money, but the deep joy of knowing he was finally living in alignment with his true self. A message for you. Remember this. Authenticity isn't about saying everything on your mind. It's about living a life where you don't have to hide who you are. Learn to love yourself enough to be honest even when that honesty sets you apart. The world doesn't need more perfect replicas. It needs real humans, those brave enough to be themselves. The power of being genuine. When you dare to be yourself, the world starts to listen. When Patrick first stepped away from the familiar path, he went through a phase of deep uncertainty. He worried that his audience wouldn't accept his new style, one that was deeply personal and different from the mainstream. He feared that this change might make him misunderstood or forgotten in a competitive industry. But what happened was the complete opposite. Patrick's work began to capture attention. In the creative world, people noticed, appreciated, and even celebrated his boldness and sincerity. Designers who once overlooked him now praised the authenticity, courage, and fresh energy in his creations. He no longer had to try to fit in. His truth stood out. Because when you live authentically, your art, your work, and your presence begin to speak for themselves. And that is the quiet power of truth. It doesn't shout, it shines. Authenticity, the bridge that connects people. Patrick's story is a powerful reminder of a simple yet profound truth. When we dare to live authentically, we naturally attract those who resonate on the same frequency. We don't just receive empathy, we leave a lasting impression that no amount of pretense or imitation could ever create. Authenticity is like natural light. It doesn't need to boast or force itself to shine, yet it illuminates everything around it. When we live in alignment with our true values, we not only allow others to see who we really are, but also inspire them to live more truthfully themselves. Living authentically is an act of courage. Being authentic isn't easy. It takes courage to face yourself, to acknowledge your flaws, to risk being judged, and to stand firm in your uniqueness. But once you reach that point where you no longer have to hide or please anyone, you'll experience a kind of freedom that nothing else can offer. When you live authentically, the world around you begins to shift. Genuine people gravitate toward you. Your relationships deepen and become more meaningful. You no longer need to perform to earn acceptance because your true self is already enough. In a noisy world, truth is rare. Today, we live in a time where image often matters more than essence. People easily fall for appearances and forget the value of authenticity. And that's exactly why sincerity has become so rare and so precious. When you're honest with yourself, you don't just live more fully, you inspire others to do the same. In a world obsessed with filters and perfection, those who choose to be real are the ones who truly stand out. A message for you, Patrick's story isn't just about a designer, it's about all of us. It's a reminder to trust in your true worth. The world may doubt you, but if you stay authentic and persistent, eventually, they'll see your light. Authenticity not only reveals who we truly are, but it also opens the door to deeper, more meaningful connections where love, respect, and trust are built upon truth. And if you're hearing this today, remember, you don't have to become someone else to be loved. You just have to have the courage to be yourself every single day. Authenticity, the hidden gem within the soul. Authenticity isn't just a virtue, it's one of the most valuable treasures a person can possess. It can't be bought or copied. When you live authentically, you become one of a kind, irreplaceable. Others might imitate your style, your voice, or even your success, but they can never replicate the genuine energy that flows from your true self. That pure, honest energy, your sincerity, your realness, your unfiltered essence draws people in naturally. They feel warmth and trust in your presence, something this world deeply craves. When you live in alignment with your values, you don't have to chase attention. People will be drawn to you, captivated by the quiet, genuine light you radiate. When you live authentically, you send a powerful message. When you embrace who you truly are and express it without fear, you're sending a quiet but powerful message to the world. I know who I am, I value that truth, and I won't trade it just to be accepted. That is the essence of self-respect and inner freedom. An authentic person doesn't wear masks or bend themselves to please others. They may be humble but never insecure, quiet but profoundly deep. And in doing so, they help build a world where truth is honored and where people are valued and loved simply for being who they truly are. The secret within every soul. Inside each of us lies a deeply private part, a secret, an inner world that not everyone can easily reach. It might be our fears, unspoken dreams, or memories that belong only to us. When we learn to protect that inner space, not to overexpose it, we are, in fact, preserving the most precious part of our spiritual essence. That quiet sense of holding back often creates a natural allure, the kind that draws others in, not because you try to impress, but because you're real. Like a great book that reveals itself one page at a time, authenticity paired with understanding and restraint gives you depth, mystery, and quiet strength. People won't just be curious about you. They'll want to understand, discover, and connect with you. Authenticity, the bridge between souls. When you live true to yourself, you open the door to genuine connections with others. You don't need fancy words or a flawless image sometimes. A sincere glance or a heartfelt sentence is enough to build something lasting. Relationships grounded in truth are built on respect, empathy, and mutual understanding. Where authenticity exists, trust naturally grows. And trust is the foundation of every friendship, every love, every lasting partnership. Be true, that's how you shine. The world will change, trends will fade, but authentic people are always remembered not because they're perfect, but because they're real. Not because they're always right, but because they have the courage to live by their truth. Authenticity is like a quiet flame, not as dazzling as fireworks, but steady, warm, and strong enough to light up the hearts around you. And when you keep that flame alive, you'll realize you never need to try to be special because you already are. A. Nurture the mystery and depth within you. There's a kind of magnetism that doesn't come from looks or words. It comes from the silence that speaks, from a soul with depth that keeps a part of itself private. That's the art of mystery, the seventh core principle on the journey of self-mastery and Stoic living. Notice how, when you meet someone who's not easily read, someone who doesn't reveal everything, you naturally want to know more. You want to explore the layers of thought and emotion behind their eyes. This mystery isn't about hiding. It's a reflection of a thoughtful, self-controlled mind that knows sometimes saying less is the most powerful way to communicate. Mystery, the flame that sparks curiosity and admiration. Since ancient times, Stoic philosophers have known this truth. What is left unsaid often carries more weight than what is spoken. We humans are drawn to the unknown. It's that shadowed space that fuels curiosity, inspiration, and the desire to grow. When you keep a little mystery about yourself, you invite others to come closer, to explore deeper. And through that process, you don't just attract admiration, you embody quiet confidence, the kind that needs no words. Be the book people want to keep reading. Imagine yourself as an unpredictable book. Each chapter, a life lesson. Each page, a story. Each line, a new depth of insight. When others open your pages, they don't just read, they feel your energy. It makes them wonder, what more is there to discover about this person? That's what makes every conversation with you engaging, not shallow, but rich with emotion and meaning. You become a source of inspiration, not because you preach, but because you live your truth. Your presence alone carries depth. Mystery isn't hiding, it's knowing what's worth keeping. Being mysterious doesn't mean being closed off or distant. It's about balance, sharing enough, but keeping what's sacred within. The wise understand that not everything needs to be displayed. Some thoughts, memories, and emotions are meant to be kept inside, like pearls deep in the ocean, glowing brighter the deeper they're hidden. Mystery protects your energy, preserves your essence, and makes every appearance of yours meaningful. Others will never feel they completely know you, and that's what keeps every connection with you fresh, alive, and endlessly inspiring. That sentence made him realize something profound sometimes. Silence isn't a sign of weakness, but a reflection of strength and wisdom. Not everything needs to be shared. Not everyone deserves to know everything about us. Practicing discretion doesn't mean closing yourself off from the world. It means choosing carefully what is truly worth revealing. It's a form of self-respect, a layer of armor that shields your soul from intrusive eyes, negative energy, and the modern obsession with instant validation. When you know when to speak and when to hold back, you're not just showing wisdom, you become naturally magnetic. Because in a world where everyone rushes to express themselves, the one who knows how to keep something private is often the most respected and admired. The result was remarkable. The project he had quietly nurtured moved forward smoothly, without being copied or sabotaged by any competitors. That strategic silence gave him an invisible yet powerful advantage, one that few people are capable of mastering. Even more importantly, by choosing discretion over exposure, he proved not only his emotional control and admirable restraint, but also strengthened the trust and respect of those around him. They saw in him not just a businessman, but a man who understood the art of timing, when to speak and when to remain silent, a quality found in those who are truly grounded and wise. Restraint, therefore, isn't just an action, it's an art of living, a long-term strategy honed through experience and time. Every time you're about to share something, pause for a moment and ask yourself, will this truly benefit me in the long run? Will this information help me build trust and respect with others? If you can't confidently answer yes, then perhaps silence is the wiser choice. In an age where everyone wants to speak, perform, and be seen, those who know how to hold something back shine in a very different way. They don't need to be loud. They don't need to prove anything. It's their calm, self-contained presence that makes them stand out in the crowd. Remember, discretion is a sign of inner strength. It not only protects you from unnecessary risks, but also helps you build an image of integrity, depth, and quiet authority. The one who knows when to share and when to withhold is the one who truly masters their life. And that mastery naturally attracts respect, admiration, and genuine curiosity from others. Practicing restraint isn't about isolation. It's about living with depth. You don't need to talk too much to be recognized. Sometimes it's the calmness and subtlety in your actions that reveal your greatest wisdom and strength. Because timely silence is a form of intelligence and the highest expression of maturity. Restraint and self-control aren't just signs of intellect, they are the purest expression of self-respect. A person who respects themselves, who knows what to keep and what to share, naturally radiates an energy that others admire and want to be near. That quality calm confidence, blended with quiet composure, creates an enduring kind of charisma that outshines appearances and achievements alike. And now, we step into the ninth strategy: embrace the art of receiving. This is an aspect often overlooked in our modern world, where everyone wants to give, to prove their worth, to showcase their value, but few truly know how to receive with gratitude and humility. The art of receiving doesn't just enrich our spiritual life, it strengthens the bonds between people, connecting heart to heart. When we learn to receive a compliment, a helping hand, or even an opportunity with genuine gratitude, we nurture a culture of generosity and understanding. Ancient Stoic philosophy outlined 5 fundamental principles for practicing this art deeply and meaningfully. First, recognize our interconnectedness. No one in life exists completely independently. We are nurtured, supported, and guided by relationships, by helping hands, and sometimes by the invisible grace of the universe. Understanding this helps us release pride, opening our hearts to receive from others without shame or a sense of weakness. Second, cultivate gratitude. When you accept help or love from someone, let gratitude sit at the center of your heart, because gratitude reminds us that every good thing is a gift, not an entitlement. It teaches us to appreciate even the smallest gestures, a kind word, a smile, or the chance to be heard. Third, learn humility. Accepting help takes courage. Sometimes we're too proud to say, "I need you," but true humility begins when we can admit that we're not all powerful, and that's the moment when real wisdom starts to grow. Fourth, build community through openness. When you allow yourself to receive, you also give others the chance to express their kindness. That act of receiving not only strengthens emotional bonds, but also creates a safe space, a place where people can freely express their needs and vulnerabilities without fear of being judged. This kind of honest vulnerability is the foundation of trust and long-lasting relationships. Fifth, inspire generosity. When you receive with grace, you encourage others to keep giving. That circle of energy of giving and receiving makes the world softer, kinder, and more complete. Because when one heart opens, others naturally follow. And to practice this art, you don't have to start with something grand. It can be as simple as smiling when someone compliments you, saying a heartfelt thank you, or accepting help without feeling weak. Because when you learn to receive, you allow love, kindness, and genuine connection to flow through you, nourishing both yourself and everyone around you. Learning to receive is inseparable from learning to give. When both exist together, your life becomes richer, warmer, and more meaningful than ever before. When we open ourselves to receive help, we're not just reaching for a hand, we're giving ourselves the chance to be seen, understood, and deeply connected to others. Accepting advice or even criticism isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of courage, the courage to look within, to listen, and to grow. Instead of seeing criticism as a wound to your pride, view it as a gift, a mirror reflecting what you can improve. When someone takes the time to point out your flaws, they're helping you take one step closer to becoming your best self. That's a form of love, sometimes rough around the edges, but always sincere. Be grateful. Even for the smallest things, a smile, a kind word, a moment of care. These seemingly insignificant gestures are what warm the soul and make the world a gentler place. Each time we express gratitude, we plant another seed of compassion, something our modern world deeply needs. The art of acceptance is not about surrendering to life, but about understanding deeply that we don't have to fight everything to be strong. Acceptance is a sign of wisdom, the ability to balance control and release, reason and faith. When we learn to receive, we help create a culture of empathy, a world where people don't compete to outshine one another, but instead lift each other up, understand one another, and grow together. It's in this act of giving and receiving that true generosity and genuine connection are born. If this message resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us about a time you discovered the power of acceptance in a relationship, at work, or within your own inner struggles. Because on this long, challenging journey of life, strength doesn't always come from standing firm. Sometimes it comes from staying soft, yet unshaken. True power is found in knowing that you can't control everything, yet choosing to respond with calm and faith. Stoic philosophy once taught, focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. When you live by this, you realize that resilience doesn't come from conquering the outside world, it comes from mastering your inner one. Every fall is a chance to rise stronger. Every failure is life's way of teaching endurance, faith, and self-healing. Resilience isn't built in times of peace, it's forged in the storm. And when you learn to smile through the storm, that's when you truly understand the essence of the art of acceptance. Life doesn't roll out a red carpet for us. It constantly throws challenges our way, sometimes small hurdles, sometimes relentless tempests. But those challenges, instead of blocking our path, can become the very steps that lift us higher if we learn to see them differently. A true Stoic doesn't run from hardship. They face adversity with purpose, as if training inside life's great gym. Practices like voluntary discomfort or reflecting on failure aren't about self-punishment, but about strengthening the mind to remain steady through chaos. Every time you choose perseverance over giving up, you forge another layer of inner armor. Every story you share about overcoming struggle becomes a beacon of hope for someone lost in the dark. When you tell your story without embellishment, without self-pity, you become living proof of human strength, that even when life corners us, we can still rise with dignity and keep walking forward. People are drawn to souls like that, not just strong, but wise enough to see value in adversity. They become quiet leaders, silent guides, inspiring even those they've never met. Stoic philosophy teaches us this. Every difficulty is a disguised gift. When we change how we see things, every wall becomes a stairway. The mountain we once feared becomes the forge that shapes our strength. And soon, those who witness your journey will come to you not just because of your power, but because of your insight, the perspective of someone who turns hardship into opportunity. And so, as we conclude this journey, we're not merely wrapping up the 10 Stoic strategies, we're reflecting on a transformation, a shift in how we see ourselves, the world, and what it truly means to live with strength. You've learned how to stay calm amid chaos. You've learned to tell apart what's within your control from what's not. And above all, you've learned to value yourself not because others approve, but because you've evolved from within. Each of us walks a unique path, but if these lessons have lit even a small spark within you, share your thoughts in the comments below, because perhaps your story might inspire someone who's trying to rise again. And if you found meaning in this journey, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss upcoming videos on philosophy, inner peace, and the art of wise living. We're grateful you've walked with us to the very end of this journey. Keep moving forward, keep growing, and above all, no matter how the world changes, keep shining in your own way. See you in the next video, where we'll go even deeper into the path of becoming your strongest, wisest, and freest self.